باشمهندس، احنا نقدر نبدأ دلوقتي لو حضرتك جاهز.
أكيد إن شاء الله. Okay, طيب. Hello everyone. Thank you for joining us today on the second day of mentorship for the UAE Hackathon. Today, we are going to talk about the design thinking methodology, how to validate your idea, how to work with teams and do brainstorming and ideation. And at the end, we will have questions and answers for anyone to ask. At any time, also, you can stop me and ask question or just send it on the chatting. I will be willing to answer at any time. Okay, so if you remember yesterday, we started talking about why innovation is important, why we need to entrepreneurship in the society, and what we can consider as an innovation. We also talked about what is the best idea for you to actually do. And today we are going to continue on the process itself, how we design, how we bring new ideas to the life. And the design thinking methodology is actually the well-known methodology to innovate right now, because what was happening before design thinking is that we used to go and develop and build products and then try to sell it. The problem with this approach is that you don't know if your product is fit to the market till very late in the stage. So, and when you realize that your product is not fit, it is too late to fix that. Most of the products that were brought to life by this way, actually, if the market doesn't accept them, it is very rare that you can fix it or bring them back. Few examples of that. Let us think about the Google Glasses. Do you remember Google Glasses? Anyone was familiar with Google Glasses? You know, Google, like almost 8 years ago, they came with the concept of a glass where one of the lenses of the glasses is a screen, actually. So it is connected to your mobile and you can see data on top of it. And in the glass themselves, there is a camera. So the camera takes photos and videos of everything around you, and you can overlay or augment things on top of it. The approach seems to be nice. Everyone was happy about it, but actually it never flied. That was a big failure. And Google lost a lot of money and time on that. And guess what? Around 4 years after that, Microsoft came with almost the same concept, and they called it Microsoft HoloLens. What happened? Again, the same. This is a very good example of building a product very well. I mean, the product itself works and it delivers what it is promised to deliver. But the problem is this product no one needs. It is not a needed product. It cannot sell. So if you build the most perfect product in the world, but no one needs it, it will fail. We learned that the hard way with Microsoft HoloLens, with Google Glasses, with Google Plus. You know, Google has a great website called Google Graveyard, graveyard.com, where you find a lot of projects that Google killed, failures of Google itself. And they are proud for it, by the way, because they know very well that failure is always just one step closer to success. So for all of us right now, we knew that this is not the best way to do products. But what is the best way? The best way is design thinking, actually. And why? Because as you see in this process, you start by empathizing with the customer. You put yourself on your customer's shoes so that you feel what he feels. You know what he knows, and you don't know what he doesn't know. So you become more familiar with his problem so you can solve it to him. This is why we start with empathizing, defining the problem, then we create ideas and go and prototype. And after we define, we go back to the customer. After we prototype, we go back to the customer. After we test and implement, we go back to the customer. You see, the arrows goes to the customer 3 times in this process. That means at each important stage, your customer will see what you are doing. When you understand the customer needs, you ask him again if you correctly understood what he wants. And when you do a prototype, you go and ask him again if this is the right product. And when you go and implement the final product, you ask him again if this is what he really needs. So the collection of the process is getting the right product to the customer based on his needs, based on what pains and gains he wants. So in this process, we start by creating what we call the empathy map. And the empathy map starts with from triangle number 1, which says, who are we empathizing with? It starts with defining the customer segment. You must start any solution with first defining who are you solving for. The profile or the persona of your customer. For example, what is their age group? What is their demography? Where they live? What is their, are they men or women or a mix? Are they working or are they staying at home? What is their typical lifestyle? What is their typical income? Answering those questions give you a more close look at who are you solving for. So, for example, you don't go and build a solution totally depending on mobile smartphone for farmers in rural areas where there is hardly any signal. So you must understand very well who are you solving for, where do they live, what is the conditions of their life. And then you ask, what do they need to do? What is the job in hand? What kind of job do they need? For example, the customer of Uber want to go from point A to point B. The customers of credit cards want to use their cards to pay for a product or a service. So you need to know what is the job on hand. Then you start thinking, what do they see? What do they say? What do they do? And what do they hear? For example, let us think about if we try to solve the problem of workers, people who are working and need to have food, but they don't find time to cook at home because they go to work from 7 a.m. in the morning and they come back at 7 p.m. at the evening. So they actually don't have time to cook. How can we solve their problem? So let us first think, who are those people? What is their category? So usually those are men or women who are in early working career. So usually their age is 25 to maybe 35. They don't have a family yet. So no one at home to cook for them. And they don't have time to do it. So they usually live in urban areas. They have good enough money, but they are not very rich. So they are middle class, we can say. Those people will need a solution. So what currently do they do? they need to eat. So they order fast food, they order from restaurants. What do they see? They usually see ads for food. They are always looking for ads on food. They would like to try new things. And what do they say? They always talk about how good was or how bad was their meal yesterday. Those are examples. And what do they do now? They suffer actually, because they don't like, most of the time they got tired from eating outside or ordering fast food. And what do they hear? They hear the ads for those things. They hear the call center people talking to them always, all the time. So this is like a full map. This is why we call the empathy map canvas of people in this issue or in this problem. So their pain, now we start to find their pain or think about what pain and what gain do they have right now. So the customer profile means the customer job here, they need to eat. What is the pain they suffer from? Food they order is very expensive and it is not healthy food. What gains? They have it at fast time. So they have it in time, so they don't suffer from starvation. So what value are they looking for? And the value proposition here is very important, because if you would like people to buy your service or buy your product, you must have some kind of value. So we are looking for the pain relievers. The pain reliever here is that we would like them to have food healthy and not expensive. And the gain creator is they feed up well, or they get a good food and they don't pay a lot of money. So the product or service will actually try to solve that. And this is your job, to find this product or this service that can match this customer profile and can do pain relieving and gain creation for them. In order to do that, you must understand very well your customers, their profiles, how they look like, what is their lifestyle, what is their income, all those details. The issue here is that usually while you are searching for solutions, you are always looking for small improvements. We as people, usually we are creatures of habits, and habits want small improvements. So if you are looking for a car, you look for a car that is a little bit less expensive than your current car, or better saving on gas, or more luxurious, or faster. So you are looking for small improvement all the time. Small improvements are good for big companies, but they are not good for startups. Startups need what we call radical improvements. Creative problem solving, not habits. Creative problem solving means you are bringing a solution which has a huge improvement. It's a new method. It is completely radical. So, for example, when Elon Musk brought Tesla and the electric car, he didn't say, you know what, now car range is 80 kilometers, I will make it 100 kilometers for you. This is a 20% improvement. Come on, it is very good. No, he didn't even make it 150 or 200, which is 200% improvement. He actually make it 400 kilometers range, which is 5 times better. This is a 500% improvement. This is huge, man. This is radical. Because you think about it, if Tesla brought a car that is only 20 kilometers or 40 kilometers better than Mercedes or PM, was there anyone to buy from them? No, no one was to buy, because they are no name. Tesla was no name at car manufacturers by this time. They cannot compare to General Motors or Toyota or PM or Mercedes. Those are the big names. So in order for a small company to put itself in front of direct competition with the big guys, they must bring a very radical solution. It must be a high improvement. And this is usually what we are looking for in startups. So don't look for small improvements. Please look for radical and huge improvement. If you ask the UAE Prime Minister how you would like the economy to be in the next year, he would say to you 3 times better or 4 times better. We were doing development at 5% last year. We want it at 20% next year. He is looking for 400 times better, not just 20% or 15%. Usually, we are looking for radical improvements, and radical improvements needs radical way of thinking. That moves us to how we create radical thinking, how we bring very good ideas. And you will find it very funny. It is only by creating a lot of bad ideas. So the only way to bring a very good idea is to create a lot of bad ideas. This is how Thomas Edison invented the light bulb. You know, he tried 1,300 times, 1,300 times. He tried a new material for the light bulb and he couldn't. So someone approached him and said, "Hey, Edison, aren't you tired or exhausted? You failed, man, 1,300 times." Thomas Edison looked at him and laughed and said, "Who told you I failed 1,300 times? I actually succeeded 1,300 times in finding that this way or this solution will not produce the light bulb." You see how he thinks about it? He knows very well that each and every failure brings him closer to success. So this is the only way to succeed, actually. And this is why Thomas Watson, the founder of IBM, told, if you want to succeed, okay, double your failure rate, man. If you double your failure rate, you are guaranteed to succeed fast. So in order to get good ideas, you have to create a lot of bad ideas. And eventually, the great idea will come. So how do we get good ideas? As you can see, the world is always full of bad ideas and good ideas. So how we develop a sense of what is really bad and what is really good? Let me ask you this question. If I tell you, let us export blankets to Congo, is this a good or bad idea? Please give me your answer. Exporting blankets to Congo, is it good or bad? Please answer in the chat. Is it a good idea to export blanking to Congo? You know, Congo is this tropical country on Africa. So what do you think? You know, it is very hot there. So is it a good idea to export blankets? Not a good idea. Okay, thank you. Thanks. It is not a good idea because obviously the weather there is very hot. Why people in Congo will need blankets? Who will you sell it for? Very hot weather. Okay. So let me ask you this question. Exporting fridges to the North Pole, Is this a good or bad idea? Okay. Sangis is saying again, this is not a good idea. Weather condition. Okay. A fridge. Why do we need a fridge in the North Pole? It is cold already there, right? Okay. I am asking Sangis and everyone else to rethink about the fridges to the North Pole because a little bit tricky. Let us ask the question, what are we using fridges for? Why do we need fridges in any place in the world? What is the job of a fridge? Is it to make food cold only? Or is it for preserving food? Okay, so it is mainly to preserve food at a certain temperature. So here is another question. If you have fruits or vegetables like tomatoes or apples or strawberries in the North Pole, will you be able to leave them outside in the normal room temperature there? What will happen to them? By the way, the weather there, usually in the summer it is -20, in the winter it is -40 or -50 Celsius. So what will happen to any food at this temperature? It will freeze. Thank you, Suhaila. It will freeze. Will you be able to eat it if it is frozen? Actually, you can't. You can't eat frozen tomatoes. You can't eat frozen strawberries. So you will need it to be at a normal temperature. Or cold is okay, but not frozen. So again, we ask the question. The fridge usually saves or preserves the food at the temperature between 4 to 8 Celsius. And this is a good for food. It is not ruined, not rotten. Of course, at this temperature, nothing will go rotten. And it is also not frozen. So actually, the role of a fridge in the North Pole is to keep the food at the normal edible temperature, which is 4 to 10. Because if you leave it outside, it will go below that. It will be frozen and you cannot eat it. So now we ask the question again. Is it a good idea to export fridges to the North Pole? Is it different now after those explanations? Can we export fridges to the North Pole? Will people there buy it? The answer is yes, because they cannot eat frozen food, man. They will need the fridge. Even in the North Pole, they will need the fridge. So although this idea seemed to be very bad at the beginning, now it looks good, actually. And you know what is even better? That no one will think about sending fridges to the North Pole. Everyone will think about sending blankets to the North Pole and fridges to Congo. But who will think about sending fridges to the North Pole? Very few people. Voila, here you have a startup idea. So we think that the world is divided into bad ideas and good ideas like that, but actually they are not. They are like that. They are intersected. And guess what? This intersection is what you are looking for. The ideas that at the beginning look bad, but when you rethink about it, you'll find, oh, seems interesting. It is a good idea. Actually, You know what is good about it? No one else will think about it. Think about Airbnb. You know Airbnb, the company which offers people to rent a couch or a bed in a apartment or in a full apartment. If you think at it, if I told you 10 years ago that there will be a company in the world that get money from renting a sofa or a couch in your home, will you allow any foreigner or any stranger to come to your home and sit there and live there? Actually, you remember that this is against everything we were taught when we were young. When you are young, your parents tell you, don't allow strangers to the home, right? But guess what? There is a big company now which is valued at more than $80 billion, which is only based on that, on bringing strange people to people home. You see, at the beginning, it looks like as a very bad idea, but it turns out to be a great idea and people are making a lot of money out of it. The company, the renters, the people who rent, everyone is happy and it's a win-win. So this is why we can have a business from ideas that at the beginning they look bad, but at the end they look really good. The intersection, the ideas in between, always think. So someone may ask me, why don't we just go and do good ideas? Why we bother by doing the semi-bad, semi-good ideas? I tell you why, because the problem of good ideas is that everyone is doing it. Exporting blankets to North Pole, everyone will do it. Exporting fridges to Congo, everyone will do it. But the opposite, no one will do it, or very few. So here you have an idea for a startup. Startups needs what we call a blue ocean, not a red ocean. Good ideas, although they are good, but because they are good, they are also red ocean. Red oceans means a lot of fishermen and very few fish. So people fight for hunting, while blue ocean is the opposite. A lot of fish, few fishermen. So there are plenty for everyone. This is what we call a niche market, a market that is underserved. No one is serving it. And you come and create a good idea for this niche market, and here you have a good startup and you begin doing business. Okay, so let us now think about how we get ideas. Innovation is a team sport. It needs a lot of people to think together. But here, attitude is everything. Think about those people. If this is a team, what is the problem of those people? Look at the photo. What is their problem? I give you a hint. Look, where are they looking? Are they all looking the same direction? Yes. Thank you, Saifuddin, and thank you, Sangis. They are looking in different direction. They don't have the same vision. So in order to have a good idea, all of the team should have not the same idea, but the same vision. They always look at the problem in the same direction. So, and we must have a team. No one alone can think about good ideas. You always need a team. So this is how we do it. We go by defining the scope. The scope is usually something like how we might solve this problem for this category or this profile of customers. How we can solve the problem of traffic fines in the UAE for people who own cars. How can we solve the problem of getting your passport stamped at the airport while there are hundreds and thousands of people traveling together? This is a problem definition. Then you generate a lot of ideas to solve this. Then you sort your ideas. And this sorting is very important. It is the opposite, by the way, from creating a lot of idea. There is a selection of challenges of the team, but there is nothing to select for challenges. Okay, Saifuddin, this problem has been identified and the team is working on it because it came as a question also in the previous session. So please follow up and keep trying with the website. Most probably it will be solved, and you can send an email to the admin at hackathon.ae to know where it is solved. Okay. So we need to sort the ideas, the solutions, and finally describe how it works. So the creative process is based on starting from the scope, the definition. You create a lot of ideas, big green funnel, and then you sorted the big red funnel into a concept. The whole creative process is based on that. You see, without this big tunnel where you have a lot of ideas and then you try to minimize them, you never get a good idea. So there are some rules in the creative process. First rule, always look for opportunities and forget about limitations. Rule number 2, generate as many ideas as possible. You have to generate a lot of ideas. Quantity over quality here. Quantity over quality. Only in this area we need quantity over quality. Otherwise, we need quality. No criticism is allowed. Don't start to brainstorm and then someone says, we can do this, and someone will say, no. This is very tedious. This is very difficult. We cannot do that. No, please. Let them talk. Let everyone talk. No limitations. And co-create. So if someone says we can do this, someone else will come, yes, we can do this, and then we can do this as well. So you build on each other idea. And finally, please be careful of falling on what we call the monkey trap. What is the monkey trap? You know, this is a way to hunt monkeys in Africa, actually. What they do is that they dig a hole in the ground, they make the opening very small, and they put banana in the hole. So when the monkey comes, tries to get the banana, what happens is that he is stuck like that. And the hunter comes and catch him. Because he wants the banana. He will not leave the banana even if he sees the hunter coming on. He thinks that he will be able to run away, but it doesn't happen. And they catch the monkey. Just, there is no trap other than his hand, the hole, and the banana. The trap exactly is like that. So if you have a lot of ideas, don't try to implement all of them. This is a moral here. You know, when we are young and they put the sweets in a jar, we always go and try to get a grip of a lot of them. But we find out that if we want to get all of them, our hand cannot get out of the jar. You can only bring your hand out if you get one sweet or two. This is how we filter ideas in order to reach to just one or two good ideas, and that's it. Again, look, we have a lot of ideas, we sort them to one or two only, to build a real concept. And finally, we select the ideas by looking at the ideas with high value and high level of uniqueness. You can only do that by looking at the impact of the idea. Will it really solve the problem? And the level of uniqueness, which is how innovative, how new is this idea? If you have a very new idea and with a great impact, then your idea can succeed and can work. Okay? So tomorrow, we will be talking about the elements of your business model, how innovation technology is managed, the cycle, how we raise funds for idea and get sponsors, and finally presenting the solutions in a simple way. And we will have question and answer like we have today. So any questions? Any questions for today? Now, again, we talked about design thinking, how to differentiate good ideas from bad ideas. What are the ideas that are fit or good for entrepreneurship and for startup? What are the ideas that you can really use? How to generate a lot of ideas, how to look at them as a team together, how to work in ideation and brainstorming together, and how to avoid the monkey trap and just select the good ideas to work on it. Okay. So we are now open for questions. Do you have any questions? Is it all clear? Okay, thank you, Shamon. Thank you. I am looking forward to actually meet you all and looking forward to get the ideas and what you will be thinking about. Tomorrow will be a last session where we actually give session or talk in a lecture style. After that, you will be able to present your ideas, talk about what kind of problems are you looking to solve and what kind of solution are you thinking to build. Of course, not the full solution, but just like what do you like to do or what are you thinking to do? Okay. Okay, so I see there are no questions. Thank you all. Have a great day. And please start to work on your projects. Thank you and goodbye.